Okay, so this is the overview for the Generating a Current lab. You're going to go ahead and connect your AirLink to your device. And so this is kind of similar to what you used before, it just has one port this time. You'll go ahead and take your voltage current sensor and plug it in. And then when I initially gave this to you, so many wires. These sensor wires had these alligator clips on them. You don't need them for the first part of the lab, so go ahead and take those off. And you're going to connect these to your solenoid. So you have a solenoid, and you're going to go ahead and just connect the red to the red. Just kind of press it in, okay? In terms of setting up the software, you are going to go ahead and select sensor data. From there, it should automatically show that you are connected to voltage, and that is going to be the reading that we want to have. So that should already be checked. And we're going to go ahead and select the graph. Now, the thing that we need to adjust, we need to make kind of be aware of two things. First is it's going to give us readings in volts, and that's just a little bit too big in terms of what we're going to be generating. So go ahead and select this axis, and it's going to bring up the voltage or the sensors. And we're going to go ahead and select voltage here and change that to become millivolts. Okay, and it will automatically update here. The other nuance about this is your sensor might record some background voltage. So with nothing like happening with your solenoid, go ahead and press start. And you may just kind of get a background reading. And that's just going to be our reference line. Okay, so we're just going to record that for a little bit and know that that will be our reference line. We're going to leave that just as run one. Right now, it kind of looks a little bit crazy, but you'll see when we do our next runs that it will begin to scale it, and you'll kind of be able to measure in terms of this. So your goal is to kind of make some observations in terms of how you move this magnet into the solenoid. And so you are going to do 4 different trials, and you can go ahead and decide how you want to do this. You can like quickly move it in and leave it there. You can have it be inside and move it out quickly. You can have it be inside and move it out slowly. It's kind of up to you. You have to record 4 different trials. I wouldn't recommend doing like a whole bunch of different steps in one trial, like quickly in, rotate around, a little bit out, back in. Like that's way too many things to record. So maybe like 2 or 3 like distinct movements per trial. So I'm going to go ahead and just model one. We're going to always have the south end of your magnet go into your solenoid. So I'm just going to model the south end going quickly in and then remaining there, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and press start. Oops, I think I did that too quickly. Press start, quickly in, and then stop. Okay. Now, remember, run 1 was our baseline. So I'm going to go ahead and click on run 1 so that I have that reference line. So this right here, this is my reference line, and that's where I'm comparing it to. So I can see that right there was when I moved it quickly into my solenoid. And so my voltage jumped. So my voltage, in reality, it's going like, it says on the graph, it's about like, I don't know, 21 up to about maybe 57. In reality, like this is our 0 line. So we're going to measure this 0 voltage in that. So you'll do 4 different trials of different kinds of movements that you want to do in terms of how you have relative motion between the magnet and the solenoid. Okay, so that's for task 1. Now for task 2, you don't need the solenoid or the magnet anymore, so we're going to go ahead and disconnect this. You will need to reattach the alligator clips. And you're going to now connect it to the hand generator. Now it's a little tricky in terms of how to connect the alligator clips to the hand generator. One method is to just take your alligator clip and like clip it in there and making sure that like you're actually hitting that metal part on the bottom and doing that on both sides. So that's one method. Another method you could do, if that is a little too tricky for you, is you can take your alligator clips and then attach it to that little metal base there. So you could attach it like that. Again, a little tricky, but whatever method kind of works better for your wires, your setup. Oh, mine's really hard to open, okay? The key thing is that you want to make sure your colors are matching and that you have metal to metal connection. And for this one, again, you are going to do your runs. I'm going to go ahead part, and you'll crank your generator and kind of see what happens, okay? Again, remember this one for your reference line, because you're generating such a big current, or a big voltage rather, your reference line is almost at that 0 point. So that one isn't as important. But remember, for each of your trials, you're going to take an appropriate screenshot to insert into your lab. A reminder, this right here zooms to the extents. Okay, so this kind of gives you a nice clean image of kind of the extent of the graph that you want to be able to see. Okay, so that is the lab generating a current.